is a lot in here I feel like I want to work through and work on. But the first thing I want to do is start by marking the dynamics, which is what I usually do. I feel like I did some of them okay, but not all of them, and definitely none of them like enough. There wasn't enough contrast. And I find it difficult to like take in the dynamic markings as I'm going when I'm really focused on the notes. So just circling them or highlighting them just so I can be aware of them, just to kind of draw my attention to them, makes a big difference. I caught some of them, but some of them, others I just missed entirely, or kind of caught at the last second and I didn't do anything really like noticeable or effective with them. And one of the other big things, not a dynamic thing, but one of the big issues or difficulties I have with this particular study is changing back and forth between the two different rhythmic motives, between the triplets and the dotted 8/16. That is a challenging change for most everyone. I personally have like a bit of a pet peeve of playing or hearing somebody play dotted 8/16 like it's swing, like it's jazz, or like it's more of a triplet figure of like a quarter note, eighth note within the triplet grouping, or then like 6/8 or 12/8, that sort of thing. And it's just crescendo all the way. Well, it just says forte again, but I think you could probably get a little bit louder all the way through to the end. There are definitely a couple places where I played wrong notes and didn't realize it, because when I was practicing it earlier, that happened a couple times where I had to play a bar a couple times before I realized I was not reading the notes correctly. So I want to go slowly through it now and kind of try and catch as many of those as possible and mark them in. So let's do like 75. So I'm going to be kind of like stop and go for now. I want to mark anything that I find that I'm playing incorrectly or not reading correctly. I'll start at the beginning and work my way through. That one I feel like I've gotten right like 50% of the time. So I want to mark this B flat. There are times where there's a B flat and a B natural in the same bar, but not there. Read that again. That's the first spot that is kind of a question for me. In this last bar of the second to last line, this note right here, that last F, it's a little bit ambiguous as to whether or not it's meant to be an F sharp or an F natural. In classical repertoire, accidentals carry through the whole bar any octave. So if I have this F sharp here at the beginning, it would be an F sharp for the lower note as well. But in contemporary classical repertoire, that's just not always true. Often, I guess it's a composer by composer thing. I guess starting in like the 20th century or so, maybe a bit before, maybe a bit after. It's not a given that an accidental will carry through the different octaves within one bar. So I kind of have to choose here. A lot of like modern composers, if they don't intend for you to play the accidentals through the different octaves in the bar, we'll put courtesy like accidentals in to show that that's not what they want, but Polatschek didn't do this. So we have two options, and I think you could make a case for either one. The first option is to take that F sharp from the beginning of the bar and decide that we're just going to carry the accidental through the whole bar and make that lower F an F sharp as well. Depending on what I decide now, there could be something that comes up later as I'm kind of taking apart and working on it that will make me change my mind about this instance, but I don't know. The second option is to make it an F natural, which is what I think it actually is. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in. The reason I think it is an F natural is because of what I said earlier when I started stream about this being kind of like based on a whole tone scale. And that bar is all whole steps. If it's an F natural. If it's an F sharp, they're not all half steps. They're not all whole steps, so it'll be a random half step there at the end. But even if you start at the beginning of the figure in the second half of the bar before, well, there is a half step there. And there would be a half step going to the E natural at the start of the next bar. So, I don't know. I feel like it's a natural, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Because there's a half step there at the end too, the C to the B natural. But then I don't know. There is a lot of whole tone scale action, but it's not exclusively that. So I'm going to put the natural there, and I'm going to put question mark next to it, and we'll come back to it later. I'm going to go back a little bit and see if that helps me decide. It may not. I may need to finish it out before I can decide. But I'm going to go back like the beginning of the fourth line from the end. I'm still not sure. So to help me decide, I'm going to look up William Schuman's dates. And I feel like, I don't know, it's been a minute since I was in a music history class, so I don't remember his dates. Like even a little bit, I could guess. 1910 to 1992. So very solidly 20th century. I'm going to go with, without having listened to his third symphony for context for this study, I'm going to go ahead and assume for now that accidentals do not carry through the different octaves within a measure. I might be wrong. I might change my mind as I go along, but for now, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go back to that same-ish spot that I was just at and keep going. Let me go ahead and turn my page. To me, that sounds okay, but I'm still not like 100% sold. Let me keep going. It's marked though. I don't know if y'all can see on this measure right here, we have the F sharp here and then the F natural here. So like, is that a courtesy accidental? Oh, and he does the same thing here, this bar back here, F sharp in the lower octave with the natural written to the upper octave. So now I feel like it could go two ways. It could be he's done this F sharp earlier in the bar, F natural later in the bar twice very clearly. So is that what is intended here? Or you could say, well, he put the courtesy accidental, or no, he put the natural in for the second F to indicate that it was an F natural, not F sharp, and he did not here. So maybe it is meant to be an F sharp as well. But then I think that would be the first time we've had two Fs in a bar and both were F sharp. It seems like every time it's F, if there are two, it's one's an F and one's an F sharp. So I don't know. Composers don't always like mark things exactly the way they mean. Like sometimes there are mistakes. Sometimes they mark one thing one way and one thing another way, but they want them to sound the same. So there's a point where it's just a judgment call. I can't exactly call it Polatschek and ask. So I'm gonna go with the F natural, the lower F being a F natural in that bar before, but still reserving the right to change my mind. Where was I? I'm gonna go back to the beginning of that figure. This is the last bar, 5 lines before the end. Also, by having that F natural, it does create like a whole step. It makes this whole bar whole steps. No, not the F sharp to the G. And then the B flat to the B, or C flat is not. So I don't know. I keep trying to like hone in on the pattern and see if I can like solve the mystery, but I'm not having any luck yet. I think before I played a B flat there, so let me make sure I play B natural right there. Sort of. See, I feel like that bar, I'm probably making too much of that bar into the second line from the end of the first page. But I think it should be an F natural. That's what I'm going to go with. And if you are a music scholar, if you are a music theory buff or a William Schuman buff or a Polatschek buff and you have a different opinion, let me know. But for the sake of today, I think I'm going to go with F natural. Again, still reserve the right to change my mind if I decide it should be something else, but I think F natural is appropriate there. I'm actually going to slow this down a little bit more, just to 70, so 5 clicks slower. And we go from the beginning again. Oh, if I had to be flat there, possibly every time, it is a B natural. I'm going to go last part of the third line. I didn't do quite enough crescendo there. I'm going to do that again. need to mark some fingerings through there because I keep either making a mistake or almost making a mistake. So this second line of the second page, I'm going to make sure I do the B sharp, which is C natural, on the right hand, left hand C sharp. I'm going to have to flip the F sharp to the E sharp, and then we're going to do left hand B sharp here. I think that will solve it. I'm going to do from the top of the page. If I got that wrong or not before, but I felt myself want to play a B natural there, so I'm going to just mark that it's still a B flat. I think it's working. I think I'm getting it the way I'm supposed to. I don't think I'm missing any notes. That was the thing I was kind of aware of when I started running through it, was that I was likely playing the wrong notes, misreading the accidentals, that sort of thing, and not realizing it. So I wanted to go slowly and just kind of double check and make sure. I think I want to start working on it a little slow, or not slower, faster. Because there is no tempo marking or style marking, I am going to just assume it's like a medium, like a moderato. And maybe I'll do a few different tempos, like at the end, just to see which one I like. If it's too fast, I don't think you can really hear and appreciate the difference between the two rhythmic motives, so I don't want to go too fast. So I think about 100 or so will be a good final tempo. This is 80. Here we have these last two lines. So this F again, I'm focusing maybe more than is necessary on that one note, but I really want to solve the puzzle. I really want to know which it's supposed to be. So here we have the E, D, C, B, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, and then F, E, D, C, B flat, A flat, G flat, F. So this measure, the second measure of the last line, is like basically the same as the measure before, but see the first figure, well, it's not the same. It's not uniform. It's up a half step, up a half step, up a whole step, up a half step, and then down a whole step. No, it's not the same. I swear I know my intervals, but today I am not doing a good job of like identifying / articulating them. So I don't know. For a second I thought maybe that should be an F sharp because of the F natural at the beginning of the second bar of the last line, but now I don't think that necessarily has, I don't think that one necessarily has anything to do with the other. So I'm going to just leave it the way it is. Then I go back, second bar, second line from the end of the first page. Nope, F sharp again. That one is definitely an F sharp. Let me mark that in. I need to mark something in that moment, but I'm not sure exactly what it is that messes me up. It's really just all the sharps. It's just having all the sharps is messing me up. So I could circle every single one of them, but I don't know that that would actually help me. So I think I'm getting the notes mostly accurate except for the odd mistake here and there. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because even just speeding it up a little bit changes how my, well, not changes how my fingers move, but something that seems like it's easier at the slower tempo, just like 5 clicks faster could suddenly be much more difficult, and then I have to sit there and sort it out. So go for the beginning again. I played a G natural there and it's a G sharp. I'm going to do that again. top of the second page again. Oh, it's the same thing. I don't know why I want to misread that B as a D. So I'm going to put B above it so that I don't make that mistake again. Getting better. So I think 5 clicks faster. Now that I've kind of settled into it, it's not quite as difficult as I anticipated it being. It still has a lot of like tricks and moments that I find difficult, but I don't know. It's not, it's like if I'm focused on it, if I kind of like stay focused on the page and read the notes carefully, or like separate them out like one from the other, then I'm not going to make the mistakes, at least at this tempo, or the tempo as I've played it through so far. But if I like let my eyes kind of like glaze over or don't really focus note to note, then I'm going to like anticipate the pattern incorrectly and make a mistake. So I'm going to go from the beginning again. This is quarter note equals 90 now. This is sort of where I started without the metronome at the start of stream. Oh, that was wrong. I played an F instead of an E for that last note. I'm going to go back and do those last couple bars of that phrase. 95. Together pretty well. I think I like 95. I don't think I want to go any faster than that. I think that's a good tempo. I mean, I don't know. There's no tempo marking, but to me it seems to have good flow and it feels like it works at that tempo. So I think I'm ready to start playing it through to get like a final playthrough. So from the beginning.